A suspected would-be bank robber fires at police in a rolling gun battle through a residential Florida neighborhood.
There was no doubt in my mind that he wasn't trying to end my life. I knew he was shooting to kill.
I see I've just been fired at. The car's been hit several times.
July 1st, 2003, Tallahassee, Florida. Officer Chuck Perry is patrolling a local bank parking lot when a slow-moving car catches his attention.
I looked at the two individuals, there's a driver and a passenger. They were completely surprised. They had a very shocked look, and it wasn't normal. They immediately did a very rapid turn out of the parking lot. They aroused my suspicions to such a point that I'd actually called James Fairfield, my supervisor.
And said, hey, I've got something going. Do you know anything? Do you have any intel on a white Crown Vic or gray Crown Vic? He thought at first maybe this was a fraud suspect.
It's clear to Officer Perry that the pair is deliberately trying to avoid him. With his suspicions and his dash cam now engaged, Perry hits the lights and siren.
Wanted to wait for backup, actually, but as it turned out, they ended up driving into basically a closed neighborhood.
The car pulls over, and the passenger side door immediately opens.
I was expecting a foot chase. I was expecting to have to jump out of the car.
But the suspects don't run. Instead, one emerges from the car with a pistol in each hand.
Just raised him up to shoulder level and was just shooting bang, 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 bang as fast as he could. Both guns going. And he emptied both the weapons. Probably 10 to 12 shots were fired. The shots that were being fired were incredibly loud. The pistols were deafening. And as I was ducking down, I remember hearing the bullets hitting the car. There was a lot of kids out, and on the video you can see a couple of them riding across the street just prior to him jumping out of the car and shooting.
For that reason, Perry holds his fire. The quick-thinking officer throws his cruiser in reverse, creating distance between himself and then the hail of gunfire. It's his best defense.
I'm backing up, simply just trying to survive, get out of the way, and at that point they got back in the car.
The driver takes off again, and so does Officer Perry.
I see I've just been fired at. The car's been hit several times.
They actually kind of pissed me off, and so I decided at that point just to go ahead and chase him and see if we could catch him.
The blue Crown Ford Vic I have been shot at.
You know, it's remarkable. There is a cadence that we use when all things are well. And other than the speed at which it was coming out, it pretty much followed our standard protocol, despite the fact he was getting shot at. So we got good detail. We got good indicators. We got great descriptions.
Black male wearing a beige shirt, get out of the driver's door, shot about 10 times.
Well, I can't say I was calm that day, but if it appeared that way, then that's great. But the truth is that I was scared, and I had a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, like somebody had kicked me, and I wasn't really sure that I wanted to be there anymore.
Sergeant James Fairfield and several other officers are on the way to help Officer Perry when the driver suddenly pulls the car over once more. And once again, the passenger door opens.
The second time, when he started getting out of the car, he didn't do it really quickly. I mean, I could tell exactly what he was going to do. This time I could see that he was pulling a rifle out of the car. Again, I immediately put it in reverse, and again, he began firing, just like at a firing range.
A direct hit to the battery short-circuits the electrical system, bringing his car to a halt. The dash cam goes black.
Pursuits are bad, shootings are bad, shooting pursuits, really, really bad. And that's where we're at right now.
And I began thinking about what I was really doing, chasing this guy who was so committed to putting an end to my life. We took off again.
But Officer Perry's car is barely able to accelerate due to the damage, and he watches as the men speed off.
We're all running emergency mode, trying to figure out where this is going to get stable enough that we can assist Chuck.
After two terrifying encounters alone, backup is now on the scene.
Be careful, Jimmy. Be careful.
His cruiser is breaking down, but Officer Perry remains relentless in his pursuit. Ahead, the harrowing chase is coming to a dramatic conclusion.
There's a the most amazing crash I've ever seen. The car went up about 15 feet in the air. It spun sideways and did a barrel roll at the same time, flew about 35 or 40 feet, going over an embankment.
Police immediately descend on the car, including Officer Perry. Miraculously, both the driver and the passenger survived the crash, but they are not ready to surrender.
Watch his left hand! His left hand!
As we approached, he was still trying to get a gun.
You are gonna die if you move! Don't move!
The suspects finally give up and are taken into custody. Police confiscate several firearms, ammunition, duffel bags, a ski mask, duct tape, and rope from the car, which leads them to believe the suspects were planning to rob the bank where Officer Perry first spotted them. The officers later learned that this is no ordinary crime team. They are father and son. The father, Abdul Shabazz, who fired multiple times on Officer Perry, is convicted of first-degree attempted murder and is serving 3 consecutive life sentences. His son and accomplice, Musa Shabazz, is also convicted of first-degree attempted murder and is sentenced to 20 years in prison. And Perry was named Police Officer of the Year for his actions. Since the incident, the Tallahassee Police Department uses Officer Perry's dashcam footage as a training tool for new recruits.
Open fire with both hands. Chuck's response is to immediately disengage and get distance. The time to plan on what to do is not once the guy's shooting at you. You need to figure this out before he starts shooting at you and at least put some plan in action. Don't just sit there. Move. Do something.
I'm here today, and so I'm happy. It was a good day. When I saw the video for the first time, it had captured everything that these 2 guys had done. And it brought back, one, a lot of anger that they were trying to kill a cop. And then 2, it also brought back a lot of the memories and the details that I had not recorded in my mind. You know, you got a job to do. And so these guys, if we don't stop them, there's nobody else out there to do it. And that's what we do.
You are gonna die!